Hello everyone, it's Jimmy here and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're finally going to do a review on probably a few of Leica's most desirable lenses. And they are the 35 Apple Summicron, the 35 Summilux FLE, and the FLE version 2. Before we begin this video, I just want to apologize for such a long wait for a lot of you guys out there who have requested this video probably a month ago. But like I said in the last video, I've been pretty busy lately, so please be patient. The videos will still come out just a little bit slower than before, but I'm still working on trying to get everything on track again. Hopefully, in the next few months, we're gonna see a weekly update. Okay, so like all my previous lens review videos, first of all, I'm just gonna show you the optical performance comparisons and let's see which one performs the best optically, and then I talk to you about the fit and finish, the user experience, if and why I enjoyed using each of these lenses. And this video is really just for anyone who's interested in buying a new Leica 35mm lens, and doesn't matter if you already have a Summilux or have a Summicron. Yeah, I mean, enough chit chat, let's just get started. Alright, so that is the optical performance comparison. Well, what do you think? The Apple Summicron, well, of course, it's better in almost every way, except for the fact that it's one stop slower than the other two lenses here. Yes, it's a little bit sharper, especially in the mid-frame and in the corners. It's better corrected than the other two lenses, so it shows less chromatic aberration, less distortion. Yes, it focuses the closest up to 0.3 meters. So you're probably gonna say just buy the Apple Summicron, right? Well, I don't think that's the case here actually, because it's the most expensive one of the bunch. It is the hardest one to get actually, believe it or not. Despite its crazy price tag, apparently people are still craving it. You know, yes, wide open at f2, it's sharper, it's better corrected, but how many times are you gonna use it wide open and you're still gonna judge the mid-frame sharpness or corner sharpness? Well, I mean, honestly, if you're shooting a landscape, you probably stop it down to f4, f5.6, even f8 or f11. So I don't think it's that big of a deal when it comes to edge or corner sharpness. But then again, in terms of center sharpness, they're in pretty much the same ballpark. You can't really tell a difference unless you zoom in 200%. Even then, the difference is tiny. So by choosing the two Summilux lenses, you're getting one stop of light. So you'll get better subject separation, you'll get a little bit creamier of a bokeh, and the rendering is just a little bit more special than the Apple Summicron. Well, I'm not saying the rendering of Apple Summicron is not beautiful. It is. In fact, it is actually very magical, even though it is very sharp. But it's got this decreased contrast in out of focus areas, making it a little bit more creamy than it should be at f2. Oh, and in terms of chromatic aberration, it's a known issue for the 35 Summilux FLE. The Apple does perform quite a bit better because of that Apple chromatic design, but that's to be expected. But even then, you don't actually see that much of a purple fringing in your daily use. The test photo I used was in very extreme conditions, and also with just a touch of a button, you can pretty much eliminate any purple fringing or chromatic aberration in the post. So I don't consider that to be too much of a deal, especially if you're shooting digital. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the optical performance of these three lenses. Next, let's take a look at their build quality and fit and finish. Well, size-wise, these three lenses are actually more similar than I thought. The Apple Summicron is almost as tall as the 35mm FLE version 2. The version 1 with the lens hood, yes, it's a little bit taller, but if you remove the lens hood, it's actually a little bit shorter than the version 2. So size-wise, like I said, they're pretty similar. In terms of build quality, they are neck on neck. All very well built. The aperture ring is very clicky, the focus ring is smooth and with the right amount of resistance. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. They're just all very, very enjoyable to use. And I really like the implementation of the close focus capabilities here, where Leica put sort of a higher resistance point here, and you will pretty much feel it without even looking at the scale. So you'll know when to stop if you're using your rangefinder. Now, so the fit and finish, the build quality, there's nothing to complain about, at least on my copies. But I have heard that on some of the earlier batches of the FLE version 2, there's issue with the aperture blade where it came sort of broken. And this reminded me of my 35mm Summilux steel rim, which was back to Leica right now, and I'm still waiting for them to ship the new one back to me. And they told me they're gonna give me a replacement unit with the newly designed hood, which I guess it's a good thing. But as a customer, you'll have very high expectations when it comes to build quality and fit finish. I'm kind of worried about the quality assurance issues lately with Leica. Now, talking about that, I also recall that when I bought my first copy of Apple Summicron, there's an issue with the focusing mechanism where once you focus below 0.7 and the lens just behaves strangely and it won't focus starting from like 1.5, 1.6 meters. And I think like I've resolved this issue already, but still, like I said, it's not a good sign for a brand, especially one like Leica. Okay, so all these things aside, let's talk about which one of these should you get. If you already have the original version of the Summilux, and if you're shooting mainly on film, then I would probably suggest you skip these other two lenses here, because the Summilux FLE, being almost a decade old, I think, it's still a very, very capable lens. I really enjoyed using it. I took tons of photos with it, no complaints whatsoever. But if you have close shooting needs, or if you would like to try something new, then I would actually suggest you to get the Apple Summicron, because like you've seen in the optical performance portion of the video, these two Summilux performed virtually identical, so the only difference is really just the close focus capability. But when it comes to close focus capability, the Apple Summicron is a tad better. So yeah, get the Apple Summicron. But if you don't have any of these three lenses, or you have like an old Summicron, the regular version, then I would probably suggest you to go with the one in the middle, which is the Summilux FLE version 2, because it is a happy marriage of the Apple Summicron and the old version of the Summilux. It's sharp enough, it's got one more stop of light than the Summicron, and it's still got that amazing close focus capability down to 0.4 meters. And that should be my verdict of these three lenses. What do you think? And which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.